Let's say it's 2025, and you're suddenly sitting in Chris Grier's chair. The weight of the Dolphins franchise drops on your shoulders like a ton of expectations. And then, just like that, Stephen Ross walks in, face flat, tone dry, patience evaporated. I'm tired of spending my money. Not a suggestion. A mandate. A slap, really. Be efficient with what we have to spend. Oh, and it gets better. Be smart. He pauses. You think maybe he's done. Nope. And get younger players. That's it. That's the direction. Or the lack of it. You're sitting there, a GM with a cap-tight roster, aging stars, a fan base one bad week away from total implosion, and a quarterback whose timeline doesn't match the new financial diet. So now what? Now you start threading a needle that's on fire. Welcome to Grier's offseason. Let's not pretend this guy hasn't had his misses. Plenty of them. Draft swings that never connected. Big names that fizzled. Yet somehow, he's still standing. Still got Ross's trust. Or maybe just enough rope to hang himself if this thing doesn't click fast. So what do you do when you can't spend but still need to compete in the AFC? The conference that eats mediocrity for breakfast? You do exactly what Grier did. Hunt in the bargain bin. Gamble on guys with upside. And pray one of them turns gold. Start with James Daniels. Not a flashy signing. Not a headline grabber. But $8 million per year for a guy who, when healthy, can actually hold the line. Literally. Not cheap, but not reckless. A rare balance in this kind of offseason. Daniels can stabilize one of the guard spots, assuming his Achilles doesn't have its own ideas. You want youth. Fine. But youth without control is chaos. So Grier mixes in some veterans who've seen some things. Larry Borum, for instance. A guy who's been shuffled around like furniture in a moving van. Not elite. Not even locked into a starting role. But he brings depth. And right now, depth might matter more than splash. Then there's the linebacker situation. Grier re-ups Tyrell Dodson. Not a household name, but a guy who knows the system, knows the room, and isn't about to implode on 3rd and long. You're not building a highlight reel. You're building a roster that survives attrition, that lives to see December. Still, it's hard to ignore the whispers that maybe, just maybe, Grier is cooking up something under the radar. The restructured Zach Wilson deal isn't just a financial footnote. That's chess. That's clearing space. And when Grier clears space, it's not to buy a couch. It's to make a move. A real one. Could be a veteran trade. Could be something bigger. All speculation, sure. But silence from that office has never met in action. Then there's Zach Wilson himself. Yeah, that's Zach Wilson. The one the Jets pinned their hopes on and watched them evaporate. Now he's here in aqua and orange on a 1-year fully guaranteed deal. That screams reclamation. Or maybe desperation. Wilson's presence opens up 100 questions and answers almost none. Is he here to push Tua? To replace him if things go sideways? Or is he just another lottery ticket? Nobody knows. Not even Grier, probably. But that's the theme this offseason. Calculated uncertainty. Controlled chaos. The defense? Same story. Signings like Afita Melifonwu and Ashton Davis aren't going to spike jersey sales. But they're versatile, rangy, and come cheap. And maybe one of them hits. That's the entire bet here. Maybe one of them hits. Artie Burns shows up. Another question mark. Once a first-round pick, now floating through the league. Maybe he sticks. Maybe he's gone before camp ends. But you need bodies. You need chances. Pharaoh Brown joins the tight end room. A big frame, good blocker, not much flash. You need someone to set the edge. Someone to do the dirty work. You don't win in December without those guys. You just don't. And while all this shuffling happens, you're still looking at holes the size of craters. Offensive line still has question marks. Defensive line needs bite. You've got Zach Sealer doing the heavy lifting, but where's the muscle next to him? Secondary? You've got Jalen Ramsey locking one side down, sure. But the other side? Up in the air. Safety. Same story. So yeah, you've got names on paper. But paper doesn't tackle. Paper doesn't hold a block. Then there's the cap. Grier pulls a trick with Bradley Chubb's deal. Boom. $16.3 million in space appears. Smart? Absolutely. But you don't clear that kind of space just to admire the view. That's ammo. Right now, the Dolphins are sitting on roughly $28 million in cap space. That's not loose change. That's power. But what are they waiting for? The draft looms. 10 picks. The 13th overall is the headline. But you can't fill every hole with rookies. Not in this conference. Not when Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson are staring down your secondary. So what's next? A splash? A calculated strike?